ERP system uh, by actually not blocking it. So what is the problem is that when you have a lot of year to date or month to date reports or quarter to date reports, then when these heavy reports are there, then your ERP system can hang. So in the time the report is being loaded, what can happen is one, that your entire ERP can be blocked. That means no transactions can be locked. So there are so your transactions can be blocked. Your transactions might be incomplete. If there are multiple end users, the ERP can hang. So when you are having these year to date, month to date, quarter to date heavy reports, which could take a lot of time, then what we recommend is that first of all separate your reporting layer from the ERP layer. Like what we have done is we have extracted the data from JSON and then put it into a reporting layer. Now getting the data from the ERP to the reporting layer in the fastest possible time requires some skill and expertise, which is where we use a data warehouse and so forth. Now second is when we come down to the cases of people who are say using Tally ERP, right? So within Tally ERP, what happens is that basically Tally is what? It's a list of objects. It uses object oriented programming, hierarchical database, but it's object. Everything is an object. A list of objects is what we call a collections. So so every report is either made on an object or a collection. Everything is on fly in that. So now the lesser the number of collections used for developing a report, the faster your report is going to be. So for example, instead of say 15 collections which are used to make a particular report, you stick down to only one collection. So the RAM, the RAM will actually process that information faster. So what we say is try and look at minimal number of collections for faster report. Second issue that comes out is the use of custom functions. So as you know that in a hierarchical database, one child can have one parent. It's like a tree structure. If I need to go from say one branch to another, I have to use functions. So the functions can be inbuilt or the functions can be custom. So I've made a lot of custom functions throughout this thing. Or you can use something like a collection field or collection field by key, which is an inbuilt function. When you use these functions, actually what happens is it puts in a lot of load on the system, right? So a lot of load. For example, just to replicate at the database level, the joins are actually replicated by collection field by key within Tally. So if you use more of these functions, then actually a lot of load is put on it. So second could be that wherever these functions are involved or wherever these custom functions are involved, then try and segregate them from the ERP system, which we do it at the relational database. The third issue that comes is when you develop aggregation. So a lot of these reports where there is an issue is with regards to year to date, month to date, quarter to date, year by year metrics report. So here what has happened is that they use a lot of this function called aggregate compute. So aggregate compute basically means that I'm going to do a sum of an amount or a rate or quantity, and then I'm going to compute it by something. Again, it will put in a lot of load on the system. So again, we recommend that do it in the data warehouse and close to real-time basis. The third, which is actually the most important thing, is that a lot of Tally programmers actually use something called a repeating variable. So they use an inbuilt collection. So for example, if I need to make a matrix report of ledger closing balance, so they will use a repeating variable. They will start going and saying, okay, fine, I've got it by year to day, month by month. So I look at the end of the first date, the second date, the third date, the fourth date, and then I'll make a matrix report. That again puts in a lot of load on the system because you are actually going by the ledger balance or the stock item balance and then calculating the numbers, the closing balance numbers. What we recommend is that your matrix report should come from your transaction. So it is actually a voucher ledger detail, and then you should be able to make a matrix report. So what have we done to help our Tally partners and our end clients speed up the data? First, we have extracted the raw data from Tally. So we are not dependent on the Tally collections or the Tally inbuilt reports, so that we can extract unlimited number of companies and there is lower load on the system. Important thing is lower load on the system across multiple companies. Second is we made a data warehouse so that we can do an incremental data load. So for example, I have extracted transactions up to a particular date. Now when I do the incremental load, I don't need to re-extract the historical load. I just want to bring in the changed or the new entries. So I bring it into the data warehouse. The third is what we have done is that we have taken all these custom functions which are there, and within these custom functions we have converted them into what we call the joins. So joins have been extensively used. So remember this, that if you are using a SQL Server join instead of a custom functions within Tally, your report would be faster. So we have extensively extracted the raw data from Tally and then used the joins for making these reports. The fourth, what we have done is that wherever there is aggregation, we have used extensively aggregates within the database, SQL Server database, to do a group by. The fifth is that for any metrics or repeating report system, we have made it using the transaction system. So basically what you're going to get is that you're going to have reduced use of collection field by key, custom functions, aggregate, compute, extracting the raw Tally data, and then you'll be able to get the report in the object. Now Tally allows the interface or the collections to be either interface objects or external objects through either ODBC or XML. So from the database, we can import the data using ODBC into Tally for collections for getting very, very fast reports. So with this, I come down to the brief ending. In case you have any bottleneck reports or you need a lot many more reports, so we can actually increase the number of reports from the system by more than 80 to 90%. So for example, within your Tally, suppose you're using currently 8 to 10 reports or 15 reports. That productivity can be increased to 400 or 500 or 600 reports across a large number of end users by using this methodology. Most of the clients whom we have worked with, once they use our system, then they don't have a need to go to other ERPs. They stick with the Tally ERP only. Thank you very much for your time and look forward to hearing from you.